Hello everyone, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, so let me share my screen before I start. Okay, can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen from your end? Please let me know.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to continue from where we stopped last time, and because of that, so I'm not going to delay. So, I'll open the live server. You all know that already. So in the live server, this is what we have. But I want to clear this. I want to clear this HTML file. I just have simple file without all these items. So in the body, I'll just remove everything. So I'll save it. So now you see we don't have anything now, and first of all, what we have today is how we can display text with JavaScript in the HTML. So instead of writing HTML text here, I want to see how we can, on our own, display some text with JavaScript here. So instead of writing H1, H1 this, H2 this, instead of writing this thing, so I will write um, use JavaScript to write a text. Already you know how to link JavaScript. You know how to link the CSS. So I want to write something here using JavaScript. And here in the script, let me remove this so that when we write it, you notice it. So it's empty now. So in the script, so what I'm going to do today, number one, you know what is coming. So step one, so what we are going to do today is displaying text. Displaying text. We are no longer going to use console, but now we are going to use HTML so that we can see it in in our in our web browser. So displaying text with JavaScript in HTML. So pay attention. Then after that, we number two, we are going to number two comment. So after that, we are going to write simple calculator. Simple calculator. Simple calculator using HTML and JavaScript only. Using HTML and JavaScript. So that's number two. Then, and number three, we can as well use, okay, adding CSS. We can use, we kind of explore how we can add CSS using JavaScript. So adding CSS or making it more beautiful. So then after that, number four, or I think we may not have that time. So then I will give you assignment. So we start from number one. So everybody should pay attention. So when you want to display something in HTML, first of all, you have to select it. You have to select it and give it an ID. Taking for instance, I have h1. This is my HTML. You already know that. So I have h1, h1. Then in this my h1, I want to write um, Caleb. So now you see Caleb is already here, but I don't want to write it here. I want to use JavaScript to write it. So you understand what I mean later. We will begin to write the simple project with a kind of writing the simple calculator with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But for now, I want to teach you how we can manipulate the HTML using CSS, using JavaScript. So, first, you see this Caleb now. If I want to use JavaScript to write that Caleb, then there's what we call inner HTML. Inner HTML. So I will come to the script. I'm now working on step 1. I'm now working on step 1. So we use what we call document.write hello world, or let me save it, or you can as well use inner HTML, but let's start from document.write. So I'll first of all remove this Caleb so that you can see it. Nothing is in HTML. We are now doing everything in script. You see, I said document.write. Document.write. Do you know what is document and why we call it document? So it's part of what I will explain, but just know the term. You know, in Chrome creates the document object. Chrome or browser, they create the document object. So we'll say document is basically a whole page in HTML. So when I tell you HTML structure and tell you document, it's basically a whole page in that HTML. So when I say document dot, so you know what I mean by that. It means I want to write in that HTML field. I want to write hello world. Another thing, okay, let me write another thing. Document dot write is this function. Then I will say in a string, I will say my name is Nwonu. You see, document dot write. So I'm now writing it in JavaScript instead of doing it in HTML structure. So I can also say, instead of now writing head this, I can be writing it here, this, but you'll be saying document.write. You see, instead of saying p this, so I'll be using document.write. But now let me presume you know what it means to say document.write. Document means the whole thing in HTML web page. So when you say document.write, means you want to write something in HTML. So instead of just saying Console.log, you are now saying document.write because we are no longer using console. Okay, let me believe that you understand this. So do you have question or should I continue? If you want us to continue, just raise your hand or just turn on your microphone and say continue, then I will continue.
Continue.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. Okay, now let me believe you know what is document.write. I'm going to use another thing. So you know when we were teaching CSS, we talked about CSS selector, we talked about ID, we talked about class, we talked about elements. So here the same thing is applicable here. So in my HTML structure, in the body, so I can write h1 and close it without writing anything here. Then I can give it id. Id is equal to, let me just call it Caleb. So if I want to write something inside this h1 directly, if I want to write something inside this h1 directly, you see, if I save it, nothing will appear, but I have h1 elements here. I have the tag there, but nothing will appear here. So if I want to write something here, I can, in my script, target this Caleb. How do I target it? I will say document. You know what is document now, which is the web page. Document dot get that element by id. Then what now, in bracket, you now say what is that id? The id is Caleb. Then dot inner HTML is equal to what you want. Taking for instance, let me go to script. Remember that the id is Caleb. I will come here and write document dot get element by id. So I'm getting the element by id. I will know that I wrote Caleb there, and in that Caleb, now that Caleb is already HTML, so dot inner HTML. So what do you want to write there? Let it be equal to welcome to JavaScript 2. When you save it, it will say welcome to JavaScript 2, but then it will be in h1 because here the id is in h1. So first of all, you say document is everything here in HTML. Document dot, you get the element, by id, not by class, because you want to get it by id. In bracket, you now write the id is Caleb. Dot inner HTML, because it's in the HTML, is equal to what you want it to be. So that's what it means. So if you don't understand it, I will explain again. But when we begin to use it to write code, you understand better. But let me assume that you know how to connect the script to the HTML. You know what document is all about and what get element by id is all about. So, and this is the id. So dot inner HTML. So I want you to change, instead of welcome to JavaScript class, I'll just say Caleb welcome to JavaScript class. You see, it will change. I want to do something now so that there will be error, and I want someone to tell me where the error lies, and I want Caleb to do that. So Caleb, I'm going to change something now so that it will throw error. So if I go to index and change this Caleb to Caleb, remove the b and save it, this thing will disappear. Why did it disappear? So
Because the spelling.
okay, the spelling,
Because the
the id is not the same. That's perfect. The id is not the same. Okay, now that we know that, we can write something, we can do something, we can change something. Let's just see if you can write few things, um, in calculator. Today's class is going to be very easy. It's going to be very, very easy. Okay, now, you remember when we were teaching, so when we were teaching in, okay, let me put this b. So I want to just in H2 I will just say simple calculator. In H2 I will just write simple calculator. So simple calculator, you remember when we were learning the different tags, and also we learned about button, also we also learned about input type, you remember? Okay, so in this H1 I want to put input type. Input, you know input is a tag, and anytime you are using input you should always remember to put the type, but I want the type to be number, not text. The input type to be number. Placeholder, okay, enter number. You know what is placeholder? So I don't want it to be in the same line, so I can break it here, br, so you can see it very well. mm, okay, in my this thing, in my CSS, I did something here. Let me remove justify center and align item center for now. Let me remove this so we can see it clearly. Okay, I want to see. Simple calculator, then after simple calculator, then I'll break the line B R break. You don't want to CSS. Okay, maximum height, this, no, I don't want it. Good. Simple calculator, good. This is number. Okay, so input this. You know how I got this input, right? And the next thing to do is input number, where you can enter the number, is to design the button. Another input, we need to put another second number. Okay, let's put another second number, input, then enter second number. Let's do it this way. So the ID, listen, the first input type number, the second one is, let me remove this, and if I remove this, let me make it to be at the center so you can see it very well. I will change the style so you can see it for the sake of good. Can you see it clearly here? Here we have first number and here we have second number. Here we have first number, here we have second number. So now let's design buttons. So under that, under the second number, we can design button. So the button will be the button, the first button, the first button is this, and we want to write the first button add. Then the second button we want to write multiply. The same button, subtract, multiply and divide. So let's leave it. You remember when we were working on the operators, basic operators, we talked about add when we talked about concatenation, subtract, multiplication and divide. So okay, so here we have add, subtract, multiply and divide. This is just the HTML structure. This is the HTML structure, as we can see here. So it's now our duty to go to script to define a function for add and what it can do. I will just do one. I will not rush. I will do one so you can have something to remember later. So in the script, let me write a function that will talk about addition. So let me remove this this one. So let's write something now. I'm going to write about add. So what I will do is, when you enter information here in this first number and second number, JavaScript will check, just like when you were saying prompt. Remember the other time we were saying prompt, somebody will put number. Here we are no longer using prompt because we'll be collecting information from this first number and second number, so that when we click add, it will add the first number and second number. So we are going to put ID for where we can see the result. So don't worry, when I finish, one of you will share screen and do it from your end. So I'm going to put another ID. The result is going to be in H1. H1, yeah, H1. Okay, where is the button? So let me put the result below. So it will be in H1. That will be the result, and I will give it ID. Remember, you have to give it ID. The ID will be result. Don't make mistakes. So the ID will be result. Let me write something here to see if it will appear. JJJJJ. Perfect. So perfect. So it's not here, but JavaScript will write it for us. Remember when I was saying document.get element by ID dot innerHTML, something like that. So now let's begin. If you can remember last class when I was saying let number 1, that is number 1, be equal to, let me say prompt, enter the first number. You remember it. Let number 2 be prompt, enter the second number. So you see, asking you, but I don't want to get information there. So I want let number 1 be anything in the, let number 1 be anything in the, in this input, for this input. So and number 2 will be here. So in my script I will say let number 1 be, but I will do it as a function for adding a number. So let me write the function. You can write it as anything, function. The function now to add a number, for adding a number, add numbers. So function to add numbers, let me close, open and close. So now I'm going to write it so that anytime you click it, it will do this. So let n1 be equal to, instead of getting it from prompt, here we are going to get it from document, you remember, dot get element by id. Sorry, so this suggestion I don't want it. So let number one, so we are storing that information in that number one to be document. First of all, it will go to HTML document, it will get element by id. If we check the one we wrote id number one dot value, value be what is inside it. So let's check now. You see the id is num1. So if you make mistake and put another thing, then it will be error. So now let me now see if it is working. Let me see if it is working. Let me just test it. So anything I enter here, I will see this is number one and this is number two. So if I go to script, let me just say console.log or alert, or is it console.log? Okay, let's continue first. Let number two be get element by id number two dot value, which is what is in this id for number two. Perfect. So now I have anything there. Then the next thing is now adding two of them. If you want to add two of them, you now say document dot get element by id, but we can convert this thing to be number, so it doesn't we can convert it to be number. So for instance, change this thing to be number, because if not it will be a string. It will change to string. Let me change it to number. So let me change it to a number. Okay, sorry. Good. I also change this one to number, so that anything coming from there will be number. Perfect. So we know what we are assigning to this variable, and this n2 what it means. And now we have to calculate the sum of the two. I will only do this and you do the rest. I only do the sum and you do the rest. So now document, if anytime you want to work with HTML, you have to use document dot get element by id, get element by id result. I want to display it in this result, this place. It will get elements by id result, and dot inner HTML will be equal to get element by id, which is result dot inner HTML. So in this result, this thing that is empty, it will display the n1 plus n2, or you can just say you can put string. The sum is, you can just put strings. Remember what is string? The sum is pom pom. Then you use concatenation plus. Okay, let's not do that now, so that I will do it later. Don't worry, after this I will switch to your own. So now let's see if it will work. But this is a function. The function is add number, so I will copy it. We call it a function. I will copy it and I will come to the HTML and I will say when you click on this button, that is on click, when you click on the button, let it add numbers. That is on click, I will paste that function. I know it's becoming very difficult for you guys, but don't worry. On click, then I'll paste the function, and this is the function. Add numbers, then to make it as a function, you open and close brackets. So that is it. So now, as you can see, when I click this, it will check what is here and what is here and display. So let me check if I write 2 and write 4 and I click add, it will say 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. So if I remove this one and put 10, it will say 12. So now, this will be the end of my lecture. So I will switch over to your screen and teach. I know when I'm teaching, it seems as if though it's simple, but from your end, you may not understand. That's why you need to share your screen, and I'll be teaching from your end. But before then, let me just design this HTML so that you see how, so it will look more beautiful. I will only do addition, you do division. The only thing to change is, okay, you do it from your end. So let me start a calculator. In the CSS, the body is okay. Let me color the H1. The H1 is this 12. Let me just write something in this H1. So H1, I will remove it later, but I just want to see it as I'm designing it. So let me make the color. In my CSS, I will just H1. I will make this color like this. Good. Let it very big. Okay, then input is this. That is where we enter text. So let me start the input. I will style it padding. No, let me change padding to be, okay, let me just make it 10px. So it will give space to each other. You see, it will give space to each other. Let me give this rem. Let me give it a wonderful border. Good. Let me give border radius of 5. Perfect. I want outline. If I say no outline, you will not see. Then let me give gap. Margin. Let me give gap to be 20px. Let me see, so that it will give gap from each other. Okay, so let me now, I just want to design it so that you see how it will look like. Let me design the buttons. Let me also give gap to be 10. Sorry. Okay, that for button. Then I don't want to hover. Okay, let me now design result. Result is a button dot hover. Okay, result is if you check the HTML, the result is an ID. So I will start it with hash. Because it's an ID and it's a result. So I will put the result like this. So that's okay for now. Okay. Okay, so let me see how it works. Okay, let me remove this high. I was just doing it so that I will know what is happening. Let me remove the high. I've finished designing it. So I will play it now, and after that I'll stop sharing my screen. And so now if I put 20 here and put 34 here and click add, you see it will say 54. I want to bring this thing down. I want to bring it down. Okay. What's wrong? Sorry, I don't know what happened here. Okay. Uh, this thing is in automatic. Oh, I see. What's body doing here? It's closing another body. No. B R. Is self closing. Let me see if it works. One one nine. Oh, I can see it's in flex. I don't know if I have taught you about flex, but anytime it's in flex, you cannot break it as you want. So I've removed the flex. So let me go to HTML. After the first button, let me break it. BR this, I will save it. You see it has pushed it down. So it has pushed it down. So let me break it one more time so have enough space. Then I'll break here too. I'll break here too, and from add. Okay. So then I will not break others. So let me leave this one. So let me maximize it so you can see it. Okay, I want let it be at the center. In CSS, I want it to be at the center. Okay, it's already a line item center. Remove this. Okay. Okay, let's see how it works and the result. Let me see how the results looks like. The result is H1. Let me break it so that we can see result very well too. Okay, now look. If I say 400 plus 500 and click add, You see the answer is 900. That's simple calculator. So we will not design it much because I wouldn't want to make this lecture longer. So we will not design it much. We will not design it much. We will work on that later. But I just want you to understand how you can use JavaScript to manipulate it. So if you have question you can ask, but if you don't have question, then we have to if you don't have question, then we have to um, switch to another person's computer. So any question?